All right, and we're back for our next segment. This is Don King and Brandon Gatton. This is Liberty2Go Freedom Radio. Real quick, I'm going to remind everyone about the entire Restore America Together network here on Blog Talk Radio. We are working our way towards a show every single day. On Sundays, we have Patriots on Wheels, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And that show is about bikers and conservative views that bikers have and things on two wheels, and it's about bikers. On Monday, we have the ladies, Sisters for Freedom. And let me tell you, that is a show you don't want to miss. Those girls pull no punches. They tell it like it is, and they take no prisoners. And they sometimes frighten me, but that's okay. It's always in a good way. That's 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. And, of course, you got us, Brandon and I, from 7 to 9 Eastern Time on Tuesdays. And then on Thursdays, we have Right Opinions from 2 to 4 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. So RAT Network, Restore America Together Network, is up and running. We've got 4 shows. We're going to be adding 3 more within the next few weeks, so stay tuned and make sure you come back. How you doing, Brandon? Did you go jogging or something while you were on break there?
Oh, you can get rid of me that easy.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You're like a bad penny. You always turn up. Boom, boom. All right. Well, I'm doing my own sound effects right now because we're still trying to get all the gremlins out of the system here. I did download some great songs, awesome songs, but I didn't get them uploaded. So, anyway, just take my word for it, and we'll play our break music that we had from last week. One of the things that I want to do is try to always have a list of our break music in case people want to, hey, I like that tune. I want to know who's it by and things like that, and they can look it up, and they can go to YouTube and watch the videos. And so all of our songs are going to be either country or rock. Brandon is a little heavier on the rock taste than I am. But I don't know. I like AC/DC, so that's pretty heavy right there. But they are straight-ahead blues rock. But, I mean, they are to the wall. Something to the wall blues rock.
That's elevator music for me. It might as well be Kenny G.
Yeah, I know. You, if they're not screaming, you don't hear them. So, but I've made Brandon tone it down and shoot me a few choices that have a wider appeal. Let's put it that way. And actually, he turned me on to one by Iced Earth called "When the Eagle Cries," and it's about 9/11. And you cannot watch that video and listen to that song and not be affected by the raw emotion that gets portrayed in that song. And they do it acoustically, but it still has that metal edge to it. It is now one of my favorite songs. I've heard Iced Earth before. I do like them. I do like a lot of the stuff they do. That right there is my new favorite Iced Earth song. We got a few more surprises that we're going to be having next week. We will get the kinks worked out, and we'll remind everybody of our call-in number. It's 347-850-8231. And before we went on break, we were finishing up about Obamacare. And, I mean, we can come up with all the personal anecdotes. I mean, I can tell you 5 or 6 different stories about what Obamacare has done, how it forced, after my dad had his stroke, forced my mom and my dad to not be able to live together during the last 2 years of his life. And to me, that's wrong. They were together they were married 64 years, and they got married right after Dad came home from World War II. And I just think it was wrong that he and she could not be together, but they made it work. And my mom, the eternal optimist, that's where I get my looking at the bright side of things is from. She made it work, and she made it good for Dad, as good as it could be. Dad always knew that we were there for him, and he knew that he had a family, and that he was loved. And one of the best bright spots of his day is when I would bring my youngest, Kaylee. She's now 6. She was 3 and 4 at the time, and she doted on her Pa. She called him Pa, and he just doted on her. Hey, looks like we got a caller.
Hello.
Hello. We have
How
a caller.
are you? This is Mona.
Mona.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, you're my best friend in the world named Mona. You are.
Well,
you're my
that's
favorite.
because we got such class.
You're my favorite person named Mona. And
oh, that just makes my heart just pound.
So, what do you want to talk
Listening to you guys, getting myself all riled up about the military and about the Unaffordable Care Act. I went to the drugstore today, and last year I had a wonderful prescription drug plan, which I had to pay every month, of course. But then when I got there, I didn't have to pay money until I hit the donut hole. Now I have to pay almost $60 a month for the plan. Plus, it cost me $70-something today just to get 3 prescriptions that are just like were in the play of medications before I was born, which was like 1900. So I mean, they shouldn't cost me $70. So I was getting all riled up and going while y'all were talking about Obamacare.
Oh man, I tell you, I mean, I know a couple. I go to Walgreens. I'm not giving them a plug or anything, but they're right down the street from my house, about a mile, and I've gotten to know, there a lot between myself and my wife. She's got some health problems, and so we're there a lot, and you get to know the techs, and I even know a couple of the pharmacists. And I talk to them about this all the time, and they, this one tech, she comes up and I'm talking to her, and she says, it just, because I grumbled and griped about it myself, and she goes, well, what really kills her is when she gets an elderly person to come up, and that elderly person says, look, which one of these drugs can I do without?
Right.
Because if I don't, I can't eat this week.
That's right.
And I don't believe in a socialistic system where the government pays for everybody's drugs, because then you're only going to have more of that rationing, which is basically what that was. But there has got to be a solution. There's got to be some market-based solutions out there. There just has to be.
Oh, there's got, yeah. You've got to find somebody that can work in our government representing the people that can read, write, comprehend what they read, and then to make a decision based on informed information, good information. These people that we've gotten in the office right now, they're so screwed up, they don't know which end is up. I mean, even the ones that we think are so-called good guys, they turn around and make some idiotic decision. And the thing that makes me the angriest about all of them, I'll start getting on my soapbox now, is the fact that they are allowing Obama to do anything he cares to do without any much of an objection at all, and they just roll over and play dead and go, Yeah. I mean, this whole thing with Cuba. Yeah, I'm an old lady, when I was in college, I went to college at a small college in Alabama where there were a lot of Cuban boys back in the 60s. And when the revolution started, these kids went to Cuba to fight for Castro, because Castro at that time had hidden his communist colors, and they thought they were fighting for freedom on his side. Of course, that turned out not to be so once he got in power, much like what we have going on now in our White House. And so when I think about those boys and they fought and they died for freedom, what they believed to be freedom, and now it's just being thrown to the winds by this person that we have elected in the White House who has no regard for American lives. So, there's just so much that you could talk about, and I'm enjoying listening to y'all bringing up these issues. Vietnam was the war of my youth, so I know exactly what you're talking about with politicians interfering and making decisions and costing lives, because we lost so many, and it was because they were not allowed to do anything either, and then they were called names that they did it.
When you get bureaucrats planning missions, maneuvers, raids,
Right.
whenever they get that happening, the micromanaging like that, that's a recipe for disaster.
It's just
it would
horrible.
be the same
And the other thing is they fire them.
It's the same thing as if I take my car to a mechanic because the engine needs rebuilt. And while he's doing it, I start telling him what to do.
Right.
and in this case he has to do it. So he does it my way, and when I go to drive out, my car won't work, and then I blame him. And that's what happened in Vietnam. And that's a large part of what's happening or has happened in Iraq and Afghanistan, because when you get, and I've read news articles from reputable news outlets that Obama has micromanaged a lot of the different missions and things like that they had on the books. And he's never served them. He hadn't even been a Boy Scout. Come on,
I know. He was too busy being prepped for this fake persona that he has developed in order to do exactly what he's doing. So what it makes me so angry is to know that he's firing generals, and when they're coming back, and the leaders that he's been firing. Well, how many of them? 40-some of them now.
Oh yeah, he's
and I
purging
think
the upper
one
ranks
more
of the
going down.
military.
Yeah, so.
No, I mean, you get, and I read these conspiracy theory people that say, well, he's doing that because he's going to suspend elections and declare martial law, and he wants only the people in the military that are going to do his bidding. But I don't care how many he purges. I just do not see our military guys turning on the American people. I don't see it.
You might have one or two, but you will not have what they seem to think. See, what they don't understand is, okay, how many gun owners, how many hunting permits do we have just, let's say, in the state of Illinois?
I don't know. A lot.
Yeah, that's how many guns, and that's how many guns are in Illinois.
Well,
so
there's 300 million guns in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, what he's planning on doing, too, though, with this immigration problem, is he's going to allow them to earn citizenship by going into the military. Well, you've got people coming across that have no alliance to this nation.
Right.
They're going into the military